What's up, YouTube? What's up, everybody, man? I want to give another shout out, man, to Giants Nation. It really came through for me real good, man, as you can count on the Giants. And their fans, I see, man. I love being serenaded with many of the comments about, being an asshat and also being reminded of Devontae Smith's size, right? The very size that didn't turn off Joe Judge or the Giants ownership, right? They were going to get him, like they were going to get him, right? Until we jumped them. But I get it, the ego, man. It makes you have to make a comeback and say something, right, to a guy who kind of made a good point, and the good point is the Eagles wanted Devontae Smith got jumped, and then that first night, but there were upset Giant fans. But no matter. Now, you have to tell me Kadarius Toney, you have to convince yourself that you believe Kadarius Toney is better than Devontae Smith, because he's weighs a little bit more. So we're not going to talk about route running. We're not going to talk about hands. We're not going to talk about knowledge of the game. We're not going to talk about any of those things. We're going to believe Kadarius Toney, who looks more like a running back than a wide receiver, that he's better than him. Okay. Not a problem. I get it, right? But today is not about that. It's not about Devontae Smith. This is about the excellence of the organization known as the Giants and their most iconic football player of all time, and his secret ingredient, and how his secret ingredient contributed to not only one Super Bowl in 1986, but a second one in 1990. Now, as we've already established before, the New York Giants organization is built off of integrity and built off of integrity for the game. As Joe Judge said eloquently after, the Eagles failed, man, to win that game against the Washington football team last year and to graciously allow the Giants into the playoffs. The Eagles were more concerned about, next year and getting a draft pick that was higher. So the Giants feel like, no, you're supposed to beat them anyway, even if that hurts you. That's their philosophy, and our philosophy is different, right? Okay. So, but the Giants, okay, they also have this dirty history, man, that I'm a historian. I know some of you were annoyed by me bringing up 1960, Bednarik and Gifford, bringing up 2000, 1978 and 2011. I get it, but I'm sorry. I'm a historian of football, right? So I want to talk about the most iconic player who is known as, he's so great I can't even mention his name. I call him G56. G56 for the Giants, number 56. G56, man, born in Williamsburg, Virginia. Okay, a little small town in Virginia. I mean, this dude was amazing. I've never seen anything like this specimen. We're talking about a guy that went through college. They went to a small college and dominated, man. That didn't even matter, right? When the Giants picked him up, typically a team starts an organization with a quarterback. They start an organization with, back then, a running back, an offensive line. But this guy played outside linebacker. Unheard of, okay? As a rookie, he gets Defensive Player of the Year. For a career, he has over 132 and a half sacks. We're talking about over 1,000 tackles, 56 forced fumbles. Like, this guy was insane. He actually scared one of the Eagles quarterbacks, Ron Jaworski, into retirement. He put a Washington Redskins quarterback, Joe Theismann, into retirement by snapping his leg. G56 was amazing. Now, what made G56 so amazing is what we want to look into a little bit here. G56 was what I would call a super soldier, right? If you ever watch Captain America, you understand the concept of the super soldier. And he had this special serum that was prepared for him, by guys like, you ever heard of Alpo? You ever heard of Rich Porter? AZ, like these guys would put together this serum that was going around, in the 80s. And it appears that one of the people who was the biggest recipients of this serum was G56. Now, just so you can understand like how G56 would change, we're going to talk a little bit of chemistry, right? The secret serum that G56 would like get so, riled up off of, that would have him out there just doing these amazing things, is known as C17H21NO4. That's C17H21NO4. This stuff, if you put this stuff together chemically, it creates this white powder, man. There's this white powder that's so potent, right? And if you're an expert like G56 at this powder, he probably, there's been said that G56 in his own house had his own, what they call a grinder. And on the street, they call it a cocaine grinder, but we get rid of the word, that's a dirty word, right? But a grinder that he would make, and like a chemist, man, he would just grind that stuff up. And often it would, prior to a game, just so you get an idea, like you ever seen Popeye? Like where Popeye was this famous character on cartoons. Like little kids might not know about him, but guys my age or more, they know of Popeye. Popeye would have a problem with Bluto, can't beat this bully, and then he would take his spinach, full of folic acid and vitamin A and vitamin C, and this would just fuel his muscles, give him this great muscle synthesis, it would allow him to defeat Bluto. Now G56 didn't have spinach. I'm not saying he didn't like spinach, didn't eat spinach, but before the games he would use C17H21NO4. And the problem with it is when an organization is built off of integrity and built off of these things for the game, to use a super soldier like G56 is akin to cheating almost. And that's 2 Super Bowls that you did get. Okay, the Giants did get them. But what happens when your greatest player, your MVP, I gotta put an asterisk by his name for sports enhancement. I kind of hate to do that, but we're being honest here. We're people of integrity, so we gotta kind of look at that, don't you think? So for me, the Giants have 4 Super Bowls, 2 real Super Bowls. One was really impressive because it was in a year where the Giants actually sucked, right? It was I believe they won in 2008 or 2007. I think you guys won, and then whatever. Now, I do remember when you went to Baltimore and got your ass kicked. That was funny. But then there was another one where you guys were like 9-7 or 8-8 or something pathetic, and we actually beat you twice. And I remember watching the playoffs, and I'm wondering, why is everybody having a problem with this team? We kicked their ass twice, and we didn't even make the playoffs, But sometimes it's like that in the NFC East. But I remember that year clearly. You beat the Patriots, right? It was definitely had to be 2007. That's when you beat the Patriots. But that team was okay. There was another year where you were like 9-7, and you luckily beat the Packers and these other teams. I'll give you credit for that one. I definitely give you credit for that one. So the Giants have 2 real Super Bowls. Whereas with the other Super Bowls, they were fueled by a super soldier, G56, who was on cocaine.